Hey y'all, welcome back. Today I'm going to be taking y'all with me on a little bit of a kitchen reset. I just have a few different things that I want to get cooked and have readily available before we start this next homeschooling week. I have something I want to do for breakfast and then a couple lunch items as well as some snack items. So we're gonna get started. Okay, so we are going to start by making some pumpkin spice cookies. I will put all of the recipe links down below in the description in case you want to check any of them out. But this recipe is actually over on my personal blog, and I changed up the spices that went in it. So instead of using the spices listed in the recipe card, I just used a store-bought pumpkin spice blend. These were so good. My kids love pumpkin cookies. Also put chocolate chips in these, and these are just a good treat to have on hand. I try really hard not to buy a lot of store-bought snacks like snack cakes and cookies, just because my kids eat through them so fast. They're not filling and they're expensive, and just all of the filler ingredients that they put in there, it just doesn't stick with you. So I try to keep some homemade treats on hand because I know that kids like treats. I mean, honestly, we all like treats. So I like to have either some cookies or muffins or a cake or something like that on hand that my kids can still enjoy without me having to buy them from the grocery store all the time. Same thing goes with like convenience foods as far as like frozen pizzas and chicken nuggets, things like that. I will buy those, but the purpose of these weekly resets is for me to actually have some meals that are home cooked and kid friendly at the beginning of our school week. Okay, I'm now dropping these cookies on a cookie sheet, getting them ready to go into the oven. Basically, I just combined melted butter, sugar, brown sugar, an egg, vanilla extract, pumpkin flour, pumpkin pie spice, baking soda, baking powder, all in a mixing bowl. Mix it together, fold in some chocolate chip cookies, and then you just drop little spoonfuls out onto a baking sheet, and that is it. Okay, what I'm working on right now is a tater tot casserole. I've never made tater tot casserole because anytime that I have found a recipe, it has had canned cream soups in it, and we personally, myself and my husband, don't like the flavor that canned cream soups give to dishes. So when I saw this recipe the other day that did not use them, I thought this would be a good thing to make for my kids for their lunch. What kid doesn't like tater tot casserole? It's got tater tots, got cheese, got some meat and veggies in there, so I feel good about it. So all I've done so far is diced up an onion, I softened it in some butter, and then I started to brown my ground beef in it. The sausage that you see cooking in the background, that's actually going to be for what I'm making for breakfast for this week. Because usually on Mondays and Tuesdays, we don't really have much in the fridge. We've kind of, ate out of the fridge over the weekend, and we don't have many leftovers. So later on in the week, we'll have leftovers for lunches available. But at the beginning of the week is when I tend to rely more heavily on frozen foods. So frozen pizzas or frozen nuggets, like I said, and I'm trying to get out of that habit just because as my kids are growing, that gets so expensive so fast. They can eat, a couple frozen pizzas. I buy the little personal ones, and like my oldest son, he's already to the point that he wants to eat 2 at a time, and those just get so expensive so fast. So I'm trying to get into the habit these last several weeks of meal prepping something for lunches for my kids and my husband and myself, and then also having some breakfast items ready to go, and then some good treats available, primarily for the first half of the week because, like I mentioned, I'll be cooking dinner throughout the week, so the latter part of the week we usually have those leftovers available. So to my cooked ground beef and vegetable mixture, I added in a couple tablespoons of flour, stirred that around until everything was coated well, and then I'm just adding in little bits of beef broth, stirring as I go. This is what is going to give you the thick and creamy filling instead of using those canned soups. And at the same time that this is cooking together, I am working on scrambling some eggs for the breakfast biscuits that I'm going to be making. So I've got that cooking in the background while my filling's cooking up. Okay, now that the cookies were out of the oven, I started to assemble my tater tot casserole. So you just pour your filling into a 9x13 baking dish, or you could have just cooked it in the skillet that you done the filling in if you have an oven safe skillet that you're using. I decided to go ahead and put it in the 9x13 baking dish so that I could just stick the whole dish into the fridge once we were done. So you put your filling in there, and then you put a layer of shredded cheese and then your frozen tater tots on top of that, and then you're just going to bake it all together. Now I'm moving on to my breakfast biscuits. I'm going to bake these at the same time that my tater tot casserole is baking. So I'm just combining my scrambled eggs, my cooked breakfast sausage, flour, milk, baking powder, some shredded cheese. You're basically making like a biscuit mix with breakfast items inside of it. So I've made these with bacon, I've made them with smoked sausage. They are just super easy to make. You can put them in the fridge, they reheat well, and they make a quick filling breakfast. Okay, next I'm making a buttermilk pie. This was kind of a spur of the moment decision. As I was getting ingredients out of the refrigerator, I saw that I still had some buttermilk left, and I knew if I didn't use it, it was just going to go to waste. I also knew that I had a frozen pie crust, so I thought, why not make a buttermilk pie real quick, and that can be used for dessert. If you've never had buttermilk pie, it's delicious. It does not taste like buttermilk because, as you will see, you add quite a bit of sugar to the recipe, and it has more of like a custardy type filling in it. We usually only have this during the holidays, so it's kind of a nice surprise for the kids for us to get to have it during the week. So I'm putting that in the oven, and as you can see, our tater tot casserole and breakfast biscuits are done at this point. So that's what they looked like whenever they got done. Those breakfast biscuits, you can put jelly in them, some butter. They're just really yummy. Okay, now we're going to be making a broccoli salad. This is what I had for lunch during the week with some grilled chicken. I saw this recipe over on Facebook. It was just in a reel, so I'll put down in the description what I put in mine, since there isn't a recipe to actually link to. But basically, you chop up a bunch of different vegetables in a food processor to get them really small. I had to chop all my vegetables up in 2 separate batches, but I did broccoli, carrots, onion, red pepper. I believe that's it for the vegetables. I think the recipe showed that you could put in cucumbers, but I decided to skip the cucumbers because I wanted this to stay fresh in the fridge all week, and I knew that what I had used so far should still stay nice and crisp. But I did add some chopped almonds and dried cranberries that I had into it. And then I just mixed up a honey mustard dressing mix and stored it in the bottle in the fridge. I have this dressing bottle that I picked up from the Lodge cast iron store that has different dressing mixes already on it. So it shows you like where to fill to in the bottle for each ingredient. So that's what I followed, shook it up, put it in the fridge, and then whenever I got ready to eat some of the salad, I just put the dressing on it then. And here's a final look at everything once it was finished. Tater tot casserole, broccoli salad, breakfast biscuits, some pumpkin spice cookies, and the buttermilk pie. So thank you guys for hanging out with me, and I will see y'all next time.